Hi, I'm James.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Alan.
And you're watching
Chingoo
Chat. All
What's up, everybody? It's been a couple weeks
Couple weeks,
since
yeah.
we've seen you guys. We've been really busy, right?
We have.
Recently, we started a program called the Korean Student Exchange Program. That's kind of what we called it. And what happened was a group of 30 Korean nationals, so Korean high school students, rising juniors and seniors, came to the United States for the first time in what's in essence kind of like a cultural immersion program. So these kids have never been to the United States before, some let alone outside of their city.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about Korean kids from Seoul. We're talking
Yeah.
about kids from
Countryside.
like the countryside. What do you call them in Korean?
Jeonju and Yeoju
Well, those are the names of the cities, but I was
시골.
right from the 시골,
시골.
which means like countryside. So imagine, in the English language, we use the word bumpkin, right? Which is kind of a derogatory term.
Yeah.
So let's scratch that. So pretend like I didn't say that. But they're either way, they're from the countryside, and some of these kids have never been to Seoul, Korea, let alone the United States. So it was really nice having them here. We got very, very attached to them, and so we just kind of wanted to take the time today to kind of talk about our experience with the kids, kind of some of the things that they were able to experience while they were with us. And my arm is broken. But you guys take it away from here while I fix this.
Yeah. Thanks for starting us off. So basically, the whole our aim for the program itself was to make sure that we're able to provide an experience for these kids. So there were 30 kids in total, and there were 5 adult chaperones. And the adult chaperones as well had never been to America before. So it was also a good experience for them as well. But yeah, so our main focus was to provide everybody that was a part of the trip with an experience of what America was like, especially from the experience of like a Korean American, like immersing them within the Korean community within Los Angeles. And I'd say we did a pretty good job. I think we introduced them to a lot of like different things that are kind of a part of the Korean American culture,
Right.
And the experience, like a lot of food, a lot of sightseeing and like tourist things. I think it was pretty fun.
Yeah, there were some educational elements to it too. We, in the United States, we seldom learn about Korean culture.
Yeah.
And we never learn about Korean American culture except from our parents and on what's on YouTube. So in the same format, like I think a lot of Korean kids in Korea learn about, their cultural history, about Korean history, but they don't really know about like what happened here in the United States. How immigrants first arrived, the first Korean American immigrants arrived to Hawaii, and then the March 1st independence movement started, and then. The United States, LA specifically, contributed greatly to what is now known as modern day Korean liberation from Japanese like colonialism, right? So we visited a lot of different places. One of the places we went to was the Angeles Rosedale Cemetery, which is right here in the heart of Koreatown, of Washington Boulevard and Normandy Avenue. And they were able to go there, see some of the freedom fighters who are now buried there. We're talking over 121 years of now Korean American history. So we did that. They went to the Korean National Association Museum on Jefferson Boulevard, where they were able to learn about Dosan Anchangho, one of the early, most prominent freedom fighters, which I believe we've mentioned briefly in past episodes. So today we just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what we did with them. Maybe get some personal reactions from everybody about how you felt. I know we went through a lot of different emotions, some culture shock, right? Because how they grew up and how we grew up is obviously very different. We were talking about it briefly during lunch a little bit of how emotional these kids were, how much, in English, in Korea, we call it skinship, right? So like they're very touchy, not in like a weird perverse way,
Yeah.
but they're just very touchy.
Yeah.
And I think some of us were kind of like, whoa there, But
Yeah.
that's just a part of like how they grew up. So let's see. Let's look at the schedule. We were with them for 9 days in total, right?
It's a long program.
Yeah. I mean, and we covered everything. The program was 100% funded by our organization, Korean American Federation. And so let's go. Let's go January 16th, which is the first day. What day was that?
That was
Tuesday.
Was it a Tuesday?
Yeah,
Okay, so they arrived on Tuesday, I believe at 8:40 a.m.
Yeah.
They arrived via Asiana Airlines, I believe. And we picked them up at the airport. We had little signs, right? And hopefully we can share some of the video footage with you guys as we're explaining this. But Alan, myself, oh, by the way, we're missing somebody, aren't we? There's supposed to be four of us. Brandon is behind the camera today because, like many other people across the globe, he is deathly sick. So you want to just give a shout out real quick? He's giving us thumbs up, but we can hear you. Just say hi. Okay, did you guys hear that? Anyways, so we went to the airport and we stood at that. For those of you who live in Los Angeles, you guys know what that long international tunnel looks like. The terminal tunnel looks like. We were holding little signs like, welcome to LA. And then the kids finally got there. And then what was the first place? Oh, we brought them to KAFLA, kind of did a little short orientation about what to expect from the rest of the trip. The first meal they had was Jersey Mike's subs. Which they do not have in Korea, by the way. And Yeoju, I think they don't even have a Subway sandwiches, which in Korea, it's all over Seoul.
Yeah.
But it's so country that they don't have a Subway. They told me that they just got their first McDonald's, actually, which for some of you who have traveled internationally, you know there's a McDonald's everywhere in any country you go to. So that was kind of a surprise. And then for dinner, they had shabu-shabu. And then that was it. So the first day, I think we cut it really short just because we knew the kids were really tired. And then, Alan, I know you went with them on the second day. You want to go over kind of what we did on the second day?
Yeah, so we basically took them to Dosan Anchanho's house. It's actually located on USC property, so on USC campus. So we went to USC.
Alan graduated USC, by the way. A little side note.
USC grad. Right on.
Go Trojans.
So we took them there. We got a little tour, and then we also went inside the
library,
the Doheny library.
Right.
Yes, because there's a lot of libraries, but Doheny especially is like they have a East wing dedicated to East Asian like books and like studies as well. And so we got a little tour of that, which is really nice. And then after that, we came back to KAFLA. We had Dino's chicken. It's actually my first time having it.
So Dino's chicken, for those of you who don't know, is located on Pico, close to Vermont, between Vermont and Normandy. And it's pretty much like one of those old-fashioned hamburger joints in Los Angeles. But since whatever, I don't know, they started grilling their own chicken, kind of like El Pollo Loco. And it's got like an orange tint to it because I think they use some
their own Dino sauce.
Right, Dino sauce or seasoning. And it's like this really smoky, juicy, like quarters and half chickens that they serve with like fries and stuff. By the way, this video is not being sponsored by Dino's Chicken, but it's really good chicken, and the kids actually liked it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. What do we do after that?
So we did that, and then afterwards we went to the Korean National Association Museum. That was on Jefferson. So we were able to get like a little bit of a tour, see some historic items, I guess.
Yeah, and learn about Korean American immigration history.
Yeah. And then after that, we went to the Korean Friendship Bell, located down in San Pedro. It was actually very nice. It's very quiet. It's very peaceful up there or down there. It's a very nice spot.
And it overlooks the Pacific Ocean, so a lot of the kids were taking selfies and pictures with each other.
Yeah, I was recommended it. It's a good date spot. So
gotta find a girlfriend.
Yeah, I just gotta find someone to take.
You can't go by yourself on a date.
And then after that, we went to the San Pedro fire station. We were given a tour so kindly by
so the executive vice president of our organization, his name is Emil Mack, and he retired not too long ago, second in command of the Los Angeles Fire Department as deputy chief. So he obviously has the connections, and he got us a tour where the kids got to enter the fire. So the firehouse or the fire station in San Pedro is unique in the sense that they have a fireboat. And I forgot how much it weighs, but it weighed like 20,000 tons or something, some ridiculous number. And it's basically like a $30 million boat. And basically what happens is if there's a fire at the LA port, the cargo containers where they are, that boat will go out, and it's got a water cannon. It's got over a dozen water cannons attached to the boat. It basically pumps out like 5,000 gallons of water a minute. It's some crazy number, and it'll basically go out and fight fires that happens on boats. If there's if there's like a boat that's stranded out at sea, that boat will go out and actually, tug boats in. It'll rescue people out, and so the kids got to actually go on that boat and see the inside of the boat, see the gallery, see the medical sick bay, and play with the water cannons and stuff.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. Hopefully you guys can see some pictures. We'll post it up. After that, we went to a book reading event.
That was kind of the surprise event, right? Yeah. So it was LA County Supervisor Holly Mitchell's Racial Justice Learning Exchange. There was a book that was recently published called "Crying at H Mart." And to be honest, I haven't read it yet, and I'm planning to. But it's basically, I believe, a book about a Korean girl. Gosh, I don't want to speculate, but it has something to do with.
I actually read the book, so I can speak.
Well, there you go, Alan.
Yeah. So it's basically it's written by Michelle Zauner. She was basically a Korean American that grew up in the Midwest of the States. She had a Korean mother who emigrated here, and a white father. And so she basically talks about her experience growing up, and like the culture clash between the different societies she's a part of, and how she tries to connect with her mother's side, with the Korean culture, especially through food. And like food is like one of the biggest parts that she talks about throughout the book, which is why they were talking about it so much at the event. But it's a very good book. I think everyone should read it.
Jenny, when did you join us? What day did you join us?
On Saturday, the only day.
Okay.
I wasn't
Well,
working.
Jenny was
You
really
guys
busy doing
invited
admin
me.
work at KAFLA. But just to kind of speed through it, they got to attend school with current Americans at Rise Goyang High School in MacArthur Park. And that was, I think, we did some post trip interviews with some of the kids. We interviewed about 12 or 13 kids, and a lot of them were saying, we asked them, what did you think was the best part about this trip? And they said going to school with the other American kids, kind of seeing how they attend school, getting to know them, talking to them. Because I have to say, and Alan, you were there too, but the other students at the American school, they were very receptive to these kids. They loved the fact that they were there on campus. They were very accommodating. There wasn't any like, what are these kids doing here? So I thought that was really nice. They did that for 2 days. We actually even got to attend a high school basketball game where all the Korean kids went and rooted for the boys and the girls team. Luckily, both boys and girls team won that day, which was, I think, highly contributed to them having such a huge cheering section, because these kids were cheering loud.
Yeah.
Right? And it helped that there was a really cute boy on the boys basketball team, and all the girls were losing their minds over him. Sydney! Shout out to Sydney. I'm going to send you this video. And then what else did we do? We took them to the LAPD Olympic Station the next day, where they got to hold like real guns. They got to hold a officer shotgun. They got to hold a rubber bullet rifle. And they were overall given a tour of the Koreatown LAPD Olympic Station. They got to eat at Yeoju, which we call the Dragon Restaurant on Vermont and Olympic. Which, if you don't know, they closed their doors last Sunday, I should say, after 42 years, I believe, in business in Koreatown. So, shout out to Yeoju. And then we kind of did the whole. There was a very huge educational element to it. But we also gave them the routine LA tourist thing, right? Yeah. So we went to the Griffith Observatory, right, which is called Griffith Cheonmundae in Korean. We took them to the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You know what Hollywood Walk of Fame is in Korean? 홀리우드
No.
별 something 별의 거리인가? 별의 거리? It's like the streets,
Yeah,
the
I think
street
so.
of the stars or something. So they got to see the stars. Man's Chinese Theater, where all the footprints are. And then they got to try In and Out. And then we took them to the Glendale Central Library in the city of Glendale, which is where the Comfort Women statue is. And just to briefly give you an explanation of the Comfort Women statue, it's basically a statue of an old lady sitting on a chair, and it basically symbolizes all the women. Old women, young women who were dragged off during Japanese occupation and basically forced to work in brothels as a slave labor, to relieve Japanese soldiers. But we won't get too deep into that. But they got to go see that. And then they had their first experience with LA tacos at King Taco on Brand Boulevard. And then the next day, what did they do the next day, Alan?
After that, we took them to brunch. We took them to the KTP food court. There's a pasta chip. It's pretty new, and
what's it called again?
청춘 pasta.
Shout out Chongchun Pasta. They donated a meal. So they got to try that. And then what do we do after that?
And then afterwards, we took them to the Crypto.com arena.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we took them to watch a Clippers game. It was
kids are so lucky.
Versus the Nets. Yeah, that was actually a really cool experience. We even had the opportunity to do pregame free throws, except we missed that, which is unfortunate. But we before halftime, where the
fan tunnel.
Yeah, the fan tunnel.
Yeah.
Where
We went backstage, high-fived the players.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
They all got to take home their own, Korean Heritage Night. Klippus. It says Klippus in Korean.
Yeah.
Jerseys. Let's see what else after that.
Yeah, after that we went to the Academy Award Museum on Wilshire. Saw that, and then we came back to
KAFLA for dinner.
And then we broke down the schedule for the next 3 days, and then we sent them home.
Yeah, and then Jenny, why don't you go over, because you joined us on that trip when we went over to the ramen factory, right?
So for the first day, we went to Rancho Cucamonga to visit Dongshim America. And
by the way, did you guys know that there's a Dongshim ramen factory in California? I had no idea.
I did not know.
I thought all the 신라면, all the noguri, all the 육개장 사발면, all the 짜짜로니, or is it 짜파게리?
짜파게리.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dongshim. 짜파게리?
Yeah.
Chapagetti. I'm sorry. Is all made here in Southern California in Riverside County. I had no idea. I thought Dongshim America, because I knew there was a Dongshim America here. I just didn't know that's where they made the ramen. I thought it was like a warehouse. All right, what do we do after Dongshim? Where do we go?
We went to the Dosan Anchangho Memorial in Riverside. And who was that guy that we met up with?
Oh, we met up with... So he's the current president of the 도산기념 사업회, which is kind of like the memorial foundation that is in charge of memorializing the life of Dosan Anchangho and just kind of what his beliefs are. So he was kind enough to give the students like a 30-minute rundown of the history of why he's important. How his beliefs, are kind of like the foundation of how Korean Americans should live their lives, and just kind of the effect that he had on, current modern day Korean American society. And then there was another gentleman who joined them as well, and I'm so sorry I forgot his name, but he was accompanied by one other person, and then we took a very long drive to Las Vegas. And I think we toured the strip a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we had a little bit of time to walk. So we got dropped off at Planet Hollywood, and then we walked down south to New York. We visited the M&M store, some tourists, what is it called? Like the souvenir shops.
Oh, right.
Souvenir shops. And then the kids wanted Korean food.
Oh, that's right.
Korean food. So we took them to kimchi.
Because, we're thinking like, okay, these kids are in America. They want to try all the American food there is out there, right?
Yeah.
No. By day 2, they're like, no, we want Korean food now. Like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So
They
we
were-
ended up taking the kimchi, right?
They were for sure sick of like hamburgers and everything. Like
Yeah.
it was apparently too greasy.
And they were calling us, 선생님 means teacher in Korean, and there's a slang word for that, right?
Sam.
Right. So they're like, Brandon Sam. They were calling me all different. They were calling me 회장님 at one point, and then they went to Sam, and then some of them were just calling me James. I'm like, what'd you call me? Jenny Sam, Ellen Sam. They were so cute. They were really cute. And so we took them to kimchi. It was probably the most expensive meal I've ever eaten. Obviously, there was like 50 people there, but
They give us a discount though.
they did give us a discount
Yeah.
because they knew that we were from 하인회, so that was fun. So yeah, and then after that we went back to our hotel, went to sleep, and then the next day we did a tour of the Hoover Dam, which I personally, with my 43 years living in California, I had never been to the Hoover Dam, so that was kind of a treat for me. And then we drove to the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Now here's where the drama
Yes.
starts. We drove to the Grand Canyon. It took us 2 hours to get there. We were under the impression that it was going to take another 4 hours from the Hoover Dam, but our tour bus driver said, why are you going to the Grand Canyon South? It's 4 hours away. You could go to Grand Canyon West. It's only 2 hours away. So we drive. I'm like, of course, So we drive 2 hours. We get there, and we go into this place. Mind you, Grand Canyon South is the national park. It's there's no admission charge. Grand Canyon West, however, is occupied by the native Indians who occupy that land. And so everywhere you go, you have to pay the Indians basically an entry fee. I think what happened was the U.S. government basically said, since we took over your land and slaughtered all your Indian people, we're gonna give you this so that you guys can make a living for yourselves, and so we go there, and I'm like, how much is it gonna cost to take 50 some odd people there? And what is it? It was like $3,000, right?
Yeah, it was like 50 something per person.
Yeah,
It
and
was
I was
ridiculous.
I was really close to pulling the trigger because I don't want to make these kids drive another 4 hours, but I couldn't swallow $3,000. So we're like, you know what? Everybody get back on the bus. I'm so sorry. And then we drove another 4 hours.
Yeah.
What did we buy on the way? Was it Panda Express that we
Panda
bought?
Yeah, we got
Express.
Panda.
So for that hiccup, the kids got to try Panda Express for the first time, and then we finally got there. And as soon as we enter Grand Canyon National Park, what starts happening?
Snowing.
It starts
Yeah.
snowing. It was
Yeah.
beautiful, but because of the snow, we get to the lookout point. Right? We walk to the lookout point. You can't see anything.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
of the fog.
It's just fog.
There was so much
So
fog
foggy.
at the
Yeah.
base layer of the canyon that you could see the top of the rim of the canyon, but you could see nothing below it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I think it cleared up a little bit, right?
Like a little bit, but even still, like it just wasn't the whole experience.
Right.
And then once
Yeah.
we left Grand Canyon, it stopped snowing.
Right. And then
Yeah.
during
timing.
during our post event interview, when we interviewed those like dozen kids, we said, it wasn't a perfect trip, but if there's anything that you're kind of like regretful of, what would it be? They're like, the fact that we drove 8 hours to Grand Canyon, didn't see anything, and then we had to come back.
For sure.
So
That one was rough.
yeah, and we can show you some videos because I think Brandon got a bunch of videos of the Grand Canyon and of the kids not being able to see anything. Yeah, and then the last day was another short morning trip to the Strip, Vegas Strip, where they got to kind of hang out. We stopped by Barstow on the way back
shopping.
for some outlet shopping, had lunch, and then came back to KAFLA, debriefed, and then we sent the kids off, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the program went. Like I said, we did a post interview. We interviewed all the kids, and a lot of the kids had expressed that we said what was the best part of the trip, and they said the school was really cool. Being in a country where it's not as congested, I don't know why they think it's congested, but it's actually a lot less congested, traffic wise, buildings, people in the United States and LA than it is in Korea, because Korea is such a small country with so many people, and I think over a third of the country lives in Seoul, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I think the kids were like, everything's so spread out, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's one thing that they noticed. And then going to school with the kids was fun. And then the most regretful part was the Grand Canyon. But I wanted to ask you guys, as people, as staff, obviously of KAFLA, but we were working, but it was I thought it was a good experience for us too, just being around young kids from a different country and just kind of interacting with them. And we were acting as chaperones, but I got really connected like emotionally with the kids too. So I wanted to ask you, Alan, maybe to start off with, like, what was your most enjoyable part of being a part of that program?
I think it's probably just interacting with the kids, like getting to know like all the different personalities,
Right.
Because it was a mixed bag for sure.
Yeah.
Like all 30 of them were very different.
Right.
Yeah.
So
what would you say the male to female ratio was?
Oh, I mean, it was what 19 females
And 11
guys.
guys.
So
Yeah. Much more girls than there were boys.
yeah. But it was really fun. Like kind of like figuring out all the different personalities.
Right.
And like interacting with them, because very different from like a Korean, like how a Korean American would act, kind of.
Right.
But they were high schoolers.
Right. Rising juniors and seniors.
Yeah. So I think that was the most fun part for me. There wasn't like a specific event or a specific day that I like really enjoyed the most. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What about yourself, Jenny?
I haven't been with the kids too long, just 4 days.
Yeah.
But
Don't you think that's enough to kind of like
Get an idea?
yeah, but for me, like what was most enjoyable was the basketball game. Yeah.
Oh, the Clippers.
the Clippers game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Why do you say that?
I mean, why not?
Oh yeah.
You mean because you had fun?
I had fun and just like teaching the kids what like different things mean was fun.
Oh, nobody.
And
asked
when
me
we
anything.
were like screaming together, yeah. What was the
So-
least enjoyable part?
The least?
Yeah, do you guys have any?
Well, I think most of the kids would agree that the bus rides in general, going to and from Vegas and Grand Canyon, was really uncomfortable just because it was so long. It wasn't that bad for me because I went into it knowing exactly how long it's going to take to get to Las Vegas, to Barstow, to Grand Canyon. I mean, it was stressful. I mean,
I think it would have been easier if we followed the schedule.
You know what? I think we did a pretty good job of staying on schedule, but we had a certain map planned out, and I think it's tough. I think it's tough to stay 100% on schedule because,
Like not just the time, but then like on the schedule it says like go from where to where. So the Grand Canyon thing and also the Consulate General. I heard you guys went to like the house instead of the
yes.
office.
yeah. I mean, no, there were a couple of hiccups for that, but I don't think it affected the trip all that much. For me, I really enjoyed the whole thing. Just the kids made the trip, right? I mean, we just kind of designed the program, but being in charge of the whole thing was obviously very stressful. When those minor hiccups happened, yes, it was stressful, and we had to kind of fix the problem then and there. But that comes with planning any event. But I don't know. Is there something that you wanted to say, Ellen, about?
No, I'd say the same. Like probably my least favorite part about the trip was like the scheduling. Like trying to make sure that everything was on schedule and that we were like set to go at a specific time and that everyone was like
Because the
on
bus driver.
The bus driver, our first bus driver gave me a lot of sass.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So this is what happens. So bus drivers are not allowed to drive past a certain amount of hours per day, per diem. And if our schedule gets delayed, obviously that deducts more time or more minutes or more hours from that drivable time. So it forces us to leave places either earlier or this and that. So, we had to like coax some of the drivers like, hey, we really appreciate what you're doing and stuff like that. So yes, that aspect was really stressful, but this was our first event doing something like that. So I think, in the future we'll probably be able to plan it a little bit better. Maybe add maybe less stops, some more leeway, some more kind of like buffer time. Which I would think make it more easier.
No, in retrospect, like I think it worked out like great. I think like everything went according to schedule.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like time and everything. It was just stressful like during the moment.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like
yeah.
But like it's just a part of the job.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I
I think the
understand.
important thing is the kids had a great time.
Yeah. That's what
Nobody got
matters.
hurt. Nobody
Yeah.
went missing. Nobody got kidnapped.
Almost.
Yeah, nobody really got seriously hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a lot of people got sick with the flu.
Yeah.
Afterwards, just like Brandon and Jenny's got kind of the sniffles too, and
Yeah.
Alan just got everything, and I'm a little sick right now too. But you know, this is important because it's ultimately it's for the kids. It's for the experience of the kids. You know, possibly. You know, letting them experience something that they may never be able to experience ever again. Because, you know, being able to come to the United States from Korea as a student, whether it's through an F1 visa to go to college or whether it's a family trip, it's not as probable or plausible as we might think. Just because our parents did it as first generation or 1.5 generation Koreans, it doesn't mean that everybody in the Korea has this opportunity, right? So, I mean, hopefully these kids will be able to kind of expand their vision and their perspective by being able to travel around the world. But it's not easy for these kids to come to Korea and experience something like we were able to offer them. Like nobody gets access to the LAPD Olympic Division. Nobody gets access to the LA Fireboat.
Yeah.
Some people don't even know that there's a Korean American museum, Korean American National Museum here, or the Rosedale Cemetery. So, you know, gaining access into little things like that, I think was where our partnership was beneficial. So as long as the kids, you know, and they told us during our post interview, like, we're so thankful that you guys provided this opportunity, because otherwise I don't think this opportunity would ever be forwarded to us ever again. And then in June, we are planning, because we brought in 30 kids and 5 chaperones, we're planning on now sending about 40 Korean American students to Korea. So that's something that we're now gearing up to prepare for. We paid for all the expenses when the Korean students came here, and the cities of Jeonju, Yeoju, and hopefully Seoul, we're still working on that, but hopefully they'll be hosting the kids when we get there.
Sounds like a plan.
You guys want to go on that trip?
I want to go.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Since I wasn't with the kids this time a lot, I want to be with the kids next time.
All right.
Please.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna be designing that program. I mean, we're designing that program as we speak. As a matter of fact, next week I'll be going with Jeff, our executive director, to those 2 respective cities, meeting with the city mayor, some city council members, and some of the staff to work for the cities to kind of map out what activities we'll be doing when we get there, because we want to make sure that just like the kids were able to experience American culture here, we want the same thing to be available to the Korean American kids, because it's good. The experience will be completely different, right? For example, Yeoju city is known for the rice, right? Apparently, the rice there is
Delicious.
Really?
So one of the city staff members were like, "You don't think the kids want to participate in monegi, right?" And I was like, "Monegi, what is that?" Right? Monegi is when you is it when you plant the rice for the first time, or when you harvest the rice?
I think it's when you harvest.
When you harvest the rice. So they're like, the kids don't want to like step in the mud. I was like,
But isn't it cool, like learning about the
that's
process?
what I said. I was like, that's
Yeah.
exactly what they should
It's
do,
actually,
right?
when are you ever going to harvest rice?
Exactly,
Yeah.
in the United
What?
States. So I was like, you have to include that in there. And then the other thing that Yeoju is known for is pottery, apparently. So I was like, yeah, dude, bust out the clay, let the kids bake some of their stuff in the, what do they call it? A
kiln.
Kiln. I always had a hard time pronouncing that word. But yeah, stuff like that. So in June, we're thinking 3rd week of June for now. The kids will be able to go over there and experience the same thing, and hopefully meet some of the kids that came over here. You know, so we're excited about that program, and we're working on it as we speak. As my boom arm falls off my chair again. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, what have you guys learned from the program itself? Like, is there anything specific that you guys took away?
Specifically I mean, I learned, I'm always learning. I'm always learning new things about especially about Korean American history. I had never been to that Dosan Anchangho statue in Riverside before, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, I learned lots of new things about how the kids that are growing up in Korea these days, that are high school age kids, how they act,
Yeah.
what they talk about, what their interests
like.
are. Yeah. You know, I got to spend some time with the chaperones as well, which they were in their late 20s, 40s, and early 50s. I spoke with them and I talked to them about, you know, what it's like to be a government employee and working in like the suburbs, like suburb cities in Korea. I kind of learned a little bit about you guys, to be honest with you, right?
Wow.
Oh.
I mean,
What did you learn?
No, I just, you know, just kind of how you guys react to just being around like large groups of people, right? And just kind of how you guys manage yourselves under pressure, obviously. Because yeah, everybody was under a significant amount of pressure, especially Alan. Alan worked out the whole schedule, you know. So you know, and then you know, Brandon, you know, was helping out as well, and you kind of learned a little bit. I'm sure you guys saw me at certain low points, you know, where I might have lost my temper, you know. So yeah, I think there was a lot to be learned. You know, just being in a stressful environment kind of shows you the good and the bad about that person, and yeah.
So would we do it again? And would we do it differently? Is there anything you guys would change about the program? Anything you'd want to like maybe improve upon?
Yeah. I think you guys were missing a lot of fun activities for the children to like interact with. Like Disneyland. If you come in California, Disneyland, Universal Studios.
Find a funder and
You could get sponsored.
Yeah, give me a
Like
sponsor.
for nonprofits, you
Yeah.
could request
Expensive.
tickets.
Yeah, get me a sponsor and we'll
Yeah.
do it. Like it's gonna cost like
Yeah.
$10,000 to take those kids.
Yeah.
to Disneyland.
Next time.
No, we definitely had that in mind. But you know, mind you, we are working on a somewhat limited budget. Although we did spend a decent amount of money. You know, feeding 50 people at one time is not cheap. You know, even if we held it to like a $20 budget per person, that's still $1,000 meal. And you know, we had to rent buses and you know pay for hotels, and we basically paid for everything from A to Z, right? So yes, Disneyland and all these things are
Yeah, they
great
have
ideas.
donations for nonprofits.
Start a GoFundMe?
No, they don't. They donate directly. That's why I was like, how come you guys didn't just put in a
Wait, like
donation request?
Disneyland donates?
Disneyland and Universal Studios.
Okay.
So you could consider that for the
Something we
next
could
trip.
look into.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different things that we could have done for the kids, and they probably would have enjoyed it. But we had to, you have to keep in mind that there has to be an educational element to it. Like,
Right.
you know, and the reason why we took them to the Grand Canyon and to Vegas was that they could have fun, right? Of course, there's always things that they can do that are going to be more fun. But more fun oftentimes equates to more money. And you know, and this was our first time doing it. The last time that this was done at KAFLA was, I believe, 10 years ago. And none of us were here at the time, including myself. So would I want to do it again? For sure I would. I actually wanted to. So we'll be doing it twice a year. So the kids will
Twice
come
a
here.
year?
Well, the kids will be coming here once, and then we'll be going there in June. So that'll be that. So that means twice. I don't think we could do it more than, you know, that one thing.
Yeah.
Just because we wouldn't be able to do anything else, because it takes us months to plan it. It takes us only, you know, a week and a half to be with the kids, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it does cost a lot of money. So you know, hopefully we can expand the program. So instead of 30 kids next year, maybe we could bring in a little bit more. I think that might be one thing that we can improve on to expand the program. As far as, you know, what will we do differently? Yes, more fun things and just overall better planning, I think, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think this one was a good experience for us so that we can kind of improve upon some of the mistakes that we made, which obviously we made mistakes. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you want to do it again, Alan?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. The program itself was a lot of fun.
You know, and I think that's why a lot of us get into kind of like nonprofit, right? To do things like this. This is like this is honestly one of the more fun things that we do on an annual basis, right? All the other stuff, yeah, it's very rewarding, but it's not fun. You know what I mean? I get butterflies in my stomach when I help seniors and they're grateful for it, but it's not really fun. You know what I mean?
Going out and doing stuff is more
Right,
fun.
it's rewarding,
Yeah.
but you know, being around a bunch of kids half of our age, well, half my age at least, is fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like little talking human beings, and they just you kind of react to them, and they react to you, and yeah. So yes, I would definitely do it again.
All right, yeah. So we are putting together a video that will outline the entire trip. Some clips, photos, we captured a lot of media, so we have a lot to go through, a lot to process, and that falls on Brandon.
Brandon, how long is it gonna take? It's okay. You don't have to answer that. It's gonna take a while because we literally have how many gigabytes of video and photos do we have? 250 gigabytes of video footage. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
and photos. This is all 4K. Yeah, so we have like probably 300 gigabytes. Yeah, then
It's a lot to process.
300
yeah.
gigabytes of 4K video footage, all 10-second clips each. So you can imagine how many clips Brandon has to go through to produce a video that is going to be fun to watch. So we'll look forward to that, Brandon. And you guys could obviously look forward to that on our channel right here at KAFLA TV. All right, anything else?
I think that's all for now.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We apologize for taking a 2-week hiatus, but as you can see, we're very busy with the children. But now that they're gone, we can breathe a little bit and bring you some more fun episodes.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Okay, so I know we're ending the. I'm just gonna take this off. So I know we're ending each episode, and you're Chingoo, right?
Okay.
But every time I watch it on replay, it's so awkward. So at this very moment, we're gonna think of, and we can still do that part, but we gotta add like a preface to that so that we can gradually lead into it.
Okay.
So I hope you enjoyed our episode because you're watching
Chingoo
Chingoo
Chat.
like that.
Okay.
Okay. So thanks for watching because you guys are watching
Chingoo
Chingoo Chat.
Chat.
Bye.
Bye.